In an era where live service has become a dirty word, and players are increasingly wary of the always online tether, Payday 3 did something truly baffling. It took one of the most beloved community-driven franchises in history and tried to turn a chaotic, high-stakes crew experience into a sterile, corporate-mandated system.
We've seen sequels stumble before, but the fall of Payday 3 is a unique case study in how to alienate a decade of built-up loyalty in a single launch weekend. Today, we're looking past the server errors to deconstruct the psychological reactance, the extrinsic mandate trap, and the cognitive friction that turned a potential masterpiece into a digital ghost town. We're going to find out why, even years later, the community still chooses the old crew over the new system. The most immediate psychological wall players hit wasn't a gameplay bug, it was the always online requirement. This isn't just a technical grievance, it's a direct trigger for psychological reactance, which occurs when individuals feel their freedom of choice is being threatened. For 10 years, Payday 2 players had total autonomy. They could play offline, experiment with mods, and truly own their experience. By mandating a constant connection, even for solo play, Starbreeze shifted from a service provider to a gatekeeper. When the servers inevitably failed at launch, it didn't just cause lag, it confirmed the player's worst fear. They no longer owned the product they bought. This created a trust deficit so deep that no amount of patching can easily bridge it. Perhaps the most devastating design choice was what I call the challenge trap. In most games, you play to progress. In Payday 3, you were forced to work. By tying character progression exclusively to specific, rigid challenges, like kill 100 enemies with this specific gun, rather than just playing the game, the developers committed a cardinal sin of game design. This is a transition from intrinsic motivation, playing because heisting is fun, to extrinsic mandates, playing because you have a checklist. In Payday 2, progress felt like a natural byproduct of your success. In the sequel, if you completed a legendary high-stakes heist but didn't tick a specific box, you received 0 progress. The brain stops seeing the heist as a thrilling crime and starts seeing it as a factory shift. When play becomes work, the dopamine loop breaks, leading to immediate player burnout. Even if you could get past the grind, the game just felt off. While the graphics were modernized, the actual feel of sliding, vaulting, and shooting was described as clunky and intentionally slow. This is a phenomenon known as procedural memory interference. Payday 2 veterans have thousands of hours of muscle memory baked into their nervous systems. When a sequel changes the rhythm of movement without making it objectively better, it creates cognitive friction. Your brain is constantly fighting against what it expects to happen, based on a decade of experience. This makes the game feel taped together, or lifeless, simply because it's wrong according to the player's internal map. Then there is the issue of sheer scale. Payday 3 launched with only 8 heists and a handful of weapons, a massive step back from its predecessor. This triggered loss aversion, the psychological principle that the pain of losing something is twice as powerful as the joy of gaining something new. Players weren't just losing heist variety, they were losing the franchise's social capital. By stripping away features like CrimeNet and lobby planning, Starbreeze deleted the ritual of being part of a crew. They fought the pirate with anti-piracy measures but ended up alienating the customer. Not to mention the achievements. I don't know about you, but I loved doing the many achievements Payday 2 offered. And if you were on the Steam version, there were over 1,300 achievements you could complete. That's right, over 1,000. Payday 3, that released almost 3 years ago, still has 22 achievements. That's barely anything for players who are motivated by achievement hunting. Whilst we're on disappointment, let's talk about the vendors. In Payday 3, the first thing players see when you open any vendor is the words, available through DLC, on most of the items, meaning quite a lot of the content, like weapons and masks, is gated behind paid DLC. Okay, fine. Payday 2 also had a lot of DLCs, some more questionable than others, but most were good. Looking at the Steam reviews of Payday 3 DLCs, we have overwhelmingly negative, mostly negative, mixed, and I think just 2 DLCs that are mostly positive. Whilst we're on the topic of weapons, let's talk about Overkill Weapons in Payday 3. It's been 3 years, and we've got 5 weapons? just 5? Arguably, the MGL can be compared to the rocket launcher from Payday 2, and so can the minigun. So, we've got 3 questionably unique overkill weapons that, to me, honestly feel underwhelming. I don't doubt they're useful on higher difficulties, but I genuinely feel there could have been a lot more done with these deliverables. Maybe instead of giving them levels, players could also customize these weapons to truly make them unique to the player. We can already customize our other loadout items, so why not extend that to the overkill weapons? Even in Payday 2, you could customize the minigun. However, the story doesn't end in total darkness. Despite the plummeting player numbers, the developers haven't abandoned the getaway car just yet. As recently as February, a major quality of life update was released, showing a desperate, genuine attempt to listen to the community. They've started removing pet peeves, allowing players to rack shotguns or chamber rifles while sprinting, and finally replaced the much-hated Wi-Fi circles with hacking panels on several maps. They are even tweaking the physics of helmet pops and adding unique SFX for headshot kills to bring back some of that missing tactile satisfaction. Is it enough to bring back the tens of thousands of players still chilling in the Payday 2 safe house? Maybe not yet, but it shows that while the system failed, the humans behind it are still trying to find their way back to the crew. Ultimately, Payday 3 serves as a warning. It's a laboratory for what happens when corporate fear-based management overcorrects. It reminds us that games aren't just software, they are social ecosystems. When you prioritize monetization and gatekeeping over player agency, you don't just lose players, you lose the soul of your game. But I want to hear from you. Are you playing Payday 3? Or did you go back to Payday 2? Let me know in the comments. I'm Eurus, and I'm going to go see if my old Payday 2 crew is still online.